here. I think we are good to go. Welcome in to the Royals rotation. That's Rudy. I'm Gabe. Royals lose 6-2 to the Atlanta Braves. They held the lead going all the way into the ninth inning, where a very special man loves the game completely.
Special is one way to put it, for sure.
So the Royals fall to 0-2 in Atlanta. They'll try to avoid a sweep tomorrow. I'm going to make sure I'm getting this audio real quick before I kind of just get the fuck out of the way and let you take off on this one, Rudy. So give me just one moment. I am... Okay, yep, we're good to go. We're good to go. So, Rudy, I have a saying when it comes to, when I know people who know shit about these sports teams are about to go off, I get the fuck out of the way. So, go off.
First and foremost, I would just like to congratulate Q on the most single-handedly brain-dead move I've ever seen in my entire life. A lot of people, were kind of questioning Carlos Estevez being in the closer spot coming into the start of the season, me included, with his velo sitting at 90 consistently all spring. I know he did it last spring, and he came out, ended up being the saves leader of the MLB. Hooray! But it's just this spring felt different than last spring. It just felt like, oh, it wasn't. He's doing it to make sure he keeps his arm healthy, and he still has his fastball to come in. It felt like he just didn't have it. He's 33. All right, so and it's not too crazy to think that. And last year could have been some sort of anomaly coming in, and that's fine. That happens. And you just have to take that and move on. One guy can just have a great year, and that can just be that. And I'm not saying that's exactly what Estevez is going on. Might be able to get his velo back higher than what what it is right now, sitting at 91, 92. That's not going to play. We obviously saw that. That is basically just slow pitch to these guys, especially at the chest, which, looking at the chart of Estevez's pitches, that's basically all his pitches were. He did not have location at all today, could not get it in the zone. Every pitch was just outside, 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 and if it was inside, it was at the chest, and we saw that to Yastrzemski, and obviously we saw that to Dominic Smith, who hit the grand slam to walk it off, which even it wouldn't have mattered because Michael Harris hit the ground ball straight to him off the foot, and they couldn't get a double play. So even if it was a fly out, they were going to walk it off. It's just so frustrating, the fact that not only was Estevez in that situation, but Q kind of just continued to let it ride after the wheels just seemingly came off. They went into the inning 2-0. You blow it. At some point, you have to look at it and say, all right, this game's still salvageable. We can still possibly win this game. We could still win the series. This first series of the season, we can come out on top of this. There's still a way we could pull it out.
Yeah.
And Q just throws it in the fire, says, I want to see what Estevez has. He doesn't have jack shit. He couldn't even throw the sink. I mean, I don't understand it. Estevez should be sent to the IL if we're gonna be serious about this closing situation. If we want him to continue to stay closing, he should be sent to the IL to work on his velocity, because this is ridiculous. I honestly was kind of shocked that they put him in that situation. And the broadcast, they said a couple times on the broadcast about velo, about pitchers and velo. They brought it up with Ronaldo Lopez and his velo in the spring, and they were like, oh, his velo's been down in the spring, and he ended up actually throwing 95, 96.
Yeah.
And Estevez came on, they're like, oh, the same thing, and they thought it was a hoax. And I'm like, I'm sure he's going to come out here and start throwing 91, 92. That's exactly what he did. And I don't understand, even after that Q saw that and said, well, we have to continue. None of his off-speed stuff, none of his breaking stuff was really there either. I mean, he had, looking at the the spray chart here, or his pitch chart here, he had probably about 5 pitches actually in the zone. I'll say 2 were his changeup, and 2 changeups were just straight down the dick. I mean, sorry, sliders, I think. Yeah, sorry, sliders. Straight down the dick. One was fouled off. One wasn't in play, but it was an out. It was Austin Riley popped it up. Changeup somehow called for a ball right down the zone, which I don't think that's right at all, is what it says. Yeah, all this stuff that he had in the zone was hit at some point. I think the only thing that wasn't hit in the zone was a called strike on Drake Baldwin, but everything was basically hit hard, except that one pop out.
Yeah.
So just really did not have the velo.
Yeah, I mean, it was. As soon as they threw him in, it was like, okay, let's see. Like, were any of the concerns that they had, like going in, was any of that justified? Was any of it real? And by the second batter, you're like, oh shit, it was real. It was all real. The fact, like, even when it was 2-1, like, I was like, okay, you may want to consider taking him out. He walks the next batter, and I'm like, okay, he's coming
I thought
out.
for sure they were gonna take, yeah. And that's when I was shocked that they just let that Cube was like, nope, we're gonna let it go.
And then he gets I think he got contact that he would have was okay. I think it was going right to Bobby, and comes off his fat ass leg, and that turns into a tie game. And I'm like, now he 100% has to come out. And as soon as I don't see him coming out, I'm like, okay, so they have said, we're just going to take this loss because we've accepted it. Like, we've accepted we are going to lose this game. That was fucking, I mean, I sent you during the game that my displeasure with Alec Zumwalt.
Yeah.
He was an idiot, man. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. Like, I don't understand like, we're just gonna let him go. Like, dude, are you watching anything that suggests that it's gonna work itself out? Like, just throw a game, I guess. Like, just throw a game so we can learn that this guy shouldn't be the closer for the foreseeable future. Like that.
I'll say I think a lot of his substitutions, it felt like he was very, I don't know, like very panicky about it, I guess.
Like,
Um
I didn't
like
really.
when Jack got on,
Yeah.
he immediately
Took him for
went to
Tolbert.
Tyler. Yeah.
When Jack had a
And
2-hit game.
yeah, Jack still had another AB. That one didn't make as much sense. I understood, I guess, the Carter Jensen substitution. He hadn't been hitting well today. That one I understood a little more, but Jack Caglione coming out was really confusing for me.
It's just very disappointing because, like, Michael Wacha put in a masterpiece.
Yes, he had a great day, and like the broadcast talked about it. His changeup was looking phenomenal today.
And then, Matt Strom goes out there. He does a good job. Gets 3 of 4. Irsay goes out there. Gets, I mean, was it 3 of 3? Even though he gave up a hit and caught him in a pickoff.
Yeah, but he got the pickoff. Yeah, he got the
So
pickoff on Michael Harris.
He gets 3, and from there in, it's great. I guess what the question is now, because I think we would both agree that right now, as it stands, Irsay is a sorry, not Irsay. Estevez is a non-option.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially if your closer is giving up more hits than almost the rest of the pitching staff that pitched that day combined, that's a problem.
Yeah, he's a non-option right now. Until he can actually show that he's got his velo up and his command down, he's a non-option as not just a starter. I think even as a part of this bullpen. So, what adjustment is there? I mean, does it go to Irsay as the closer, Strom as the setup man, or does it?
I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely what you're looking at. I mean, if it's not the other way around, I think it kind of depends on what kind of lineup you're looking at. If you're going into the bottom of the ninth with if you're going into the bottom of the ninth with a lefty right left matchup, with their first three guys that you're facing in the order.
Hmm.
Then they'd probably go Strom. If it's the other way around, they'd probably go Urseg, or depending on splits.
Well, and like it's just you felt it was like up until that point, like they flashed the stat too that they were 73-0 going in when they had they led or tied for 8 innings.
Yeah, I mean, they were shutting them down the whole way, all the way up until that point. They had taken the wind out of the Braves' sails, offensively, just not being able to get anything going, and just for Estevez to allow the first guy on, it you could automatically start feeling the
Anxiety.
energy start going up. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I said, that's the series dropped to the Braves. I think as I said, as a non-option, another guy who obviously it's very early. I'm already getting sick and tired of seeing him. Isaac Collins. Like I'm really getting sick and tired of seeing him strike out. Especially he gets so many. He's gotten already.
I really would have thought it'd be Lane Thomas.
I mean, Lane Thomas too. I'm not really that. Neither of them excite me, but Isaac Collins has already had 6 opportunities with runners in scoring position, and he's 0 for 6 in them already. The guy, and he's striking out a shit ton too. Like he's just, he's one of those guys I don't really. I don't know. Him and Lane Thomas, I don't think are anything special. I think Collins right now is the one who's really letting himself down with the opportunities he has, and he's not taking any of them.
Yeah, I mean he's been basically handed this left field spot on a silver platter, or basically just a starting outfield spot anywhere right now on a silver platter with his switch hitting capabilities. I think that's made him such a valuable asset, or at least like that's why he's been in the lineup at least, but starting consistently.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, if he can't if he can't seize these opportunities, he might end up a platoon or bench bat. So, but I will say I liked what I saw on the base paths from him, when he was on, being smart of not forcing a run. I can't remember if it was the third inning or like what inning it was he was on, but I remember Acuna had the ball at right and was gonna throw it at home, and they think about testing him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know they didn't score that inning, but
it was just, again, it was just insanely disappointing. I mean, we got 2 hits from Jack, got a hit from Bobby, Vinny drives one in off of an error, Salvi gets a solo home run to find. It felt like you got the first run, and it felt like this weight came off your shoulders because they didn't score last night. It felt like they just got all these opportunities.
Well, and it took all the way. It took all the way to the 7th.
Yeah, and
so you're already deep.
Score, and they weren't taking them. It was like, okay, I'm just gonna make sure we can't lose. I'm putting this over the fence.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they had a really good opportunity in the third. They had runners at second and third, and they just couldn't. I mean, Bobby just lined one straight. I think it was to Acuna or Michael Harris, one of the two, but lined the ball straight to him, and it was just like, man, we can't get anything going.
Yeah.
I will say it kind of felt that way. It felt like it was that way for the Braves also for most part of the game until that 9th. Is that they also were on the bad side of stuff with that error, and there were a couple other things too.
I don't know what Matt
with the
Olson was
the
doing
pickoff move. It seemed like his glove was just a little high. I don't know if he's expecting it to hop or something, but yeah, and he didn't flip it.
I was like, he could still probably at least have a chance at getting Vinny out. It wasn't like Vinny was.
I don't know if he thought Vinny was. Yeah.
I
don't know if he thought Vinny was like Tyreek Hill or something, or Usain Bolt coming down first.
I saw him coming down the line, and I'm thinking like, oh, like Vinny still might.
He's out
here, and then he just kind of sits there and holds the ball. And
yeah, Matt Olson's just in PC mode. Gets hit with a stupid beam.
It was almost like he was afraid that whoever got to third was gonna try to take off for home. Because it
Yeah.
looks like he tried to gun him down. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that's what he's gonna do. And then Vinny's just kind of jogging into first base. I was like, bro, lost his mind there for a second. But I
Yeah,
just,
it seemed like his brain kind of shut down. Like he went to go kind of pitch it, and he thought about it for a second, and he's like, "Well, I don't know."
yeah. But it, honestly, I mean, that is because like Estevez last year had, he had blown saves. I don't,
Yeah,
I don't think there was one even close to as bad as this one.
yeah, this one was pretty egregious, and I think that's why. I mean, obviously, it's the second game of the season, and a lot of people are going to be upset because it's only the second game of the season, and that was just atrocious, and it
Yeah.
is atrocious.
Like he's supposed to
And
be your closer. Like it's not just like, oh, he had bad luck and good swings against him. It was like, no, he was throwing shit.
yeah, it's not like, oh, okay, well, it wasn't really. He was trying it was really his best, like it was his best stuff. Because we've seen some of his better stuff. That was not it at all.
No,
That
and
was complete dog shit.
yeah, it also comes in with the context that was already a concern coming into it, and now everything comes to fruition there. But said, well, we, as far as now, plan to do a watch along for tomorrow's game. Although I'm looking way less forward to that than I was. Even going into the bottom of the ninth, I was like, man, like this is the type of shit we need to do on a regular basis. I was like, Waka shut him down, air second strong, set him up. Let's see what Estevez got. And then within 20 minutes, I was like, I don't even want to fucking watch tomorrow right now because I'm afraid what the fuck's gonna.
For me, it wasn't even 20 minutes. It was basically just like 10. Once Estevez blew the game when it went to 2-2, and looking at maybe extras, I was like, are we serious?
I think we need to be waking up to news tomorrow before the game that either A, he's going to the IL, or
Matt
B,
Quintero's been sent to an insane asylum in Rhode Island.
or like I don't know, like yeah, I just oh my god. And then I mean, do they bring
I will
anyone up?
say,
Who
I
do you think
feel
they
like
bring
this.
up from the from AAA?
I mean, I personally would probably want Avia. But he also, I think he had his first AAA game today, and he might allow a 2 run, so it's 50-50 on that one. Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, his velo is higher than Estevez's right now. He topped out at 95, I think. So, um, but I did, I was thinking of something, and I completely. Oh, I was gonna say, I'll say this. I will. I think this blown game should definitely be on Estevez more than Q. But if Q ever puts Estevez in ever again in this state, it's more on Q than Estevez.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it definitely. I won't. I'm not saying Q doesn't deserve any blame at all, because he definitely does. Because
Oh yeah.
you know damn well that guy's throwing 91, 92
Like
as
I
his
was
fastball.
I was
I mean,
okay with the idea of throwing him out there at first, be like, okay, you got the 2-0 lead. Let's see what you can see if he can start working on himself. Like, yeah, yeah. But as,
that's what all the fastballs were looking like tonight.
but as soon as it started falling apart, like it was just negligence from Cotrero to like say I'm not gonna step in on this, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe he's on the IL by the next time we're watching the Royals play. Hopefully he is.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Schreiber coming out of the pen instead.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
I
go
like that.
Schreiber, Strom, and Ursig.
I like Schreiber.
I'm honestly
Funny
shocked
motherfucker.
that he wasn't even warming up when the wheels started coming off. Not
Yeah,
even a single arm.
I was
That's what kind of gets me a little irked. Is I mean, I understand you have to have confidence in your guy, but at the same time, he just blew the fucking game.
like whenever they give up the run, that's when you're like, okay, let's start like warming someone up, and then everything starts falling apart more, and you're like, okay, go get him, and no, he's all sat there. I was like, he's just down there. He was fucking, he was McSleepy down there in the bullpen, just watching his closer blow the lead. But
Yeah, I don't get how you. I really thought, especially after the Albies walk, because a lot of people usually a walk like that, you're thinking, okay, well,
it was a
a
4 pitch
walk and then
walk.
you go to the bullpen. Yeah, I mean, and the broadcast said it. It's the most unintentional intentional walk ever. But another thing was, all of his pitches, in regardless of that at bat, all of his pitches were going to that side against lefty hitters. It seemed like no pitch was inside on them at all. It was all outside. Um, which was so annoying because it's like get the ball over the damn plate. And I think it was I can't remember who he had 3-2. He had someone 3-2, and he just absolutely blew the. It was a fastball, and it wasn't even fucking close. It was like so outside.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember the AB, but I mean it was. I mean, yeah. Regardless, Estevez was terrible, terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow with a watch along, and then we'll do a deep dive on this whole series afterwards. But for now, the Royals are 0-2, and they will go to try to avoid the sweep tomorrow in Atlanta. We will see you